started. So I found this nice loop. It's like super chill. I might not even use it, but I just liked it. And I want to recreate it because I don't like the quality of this sample. I'm gonna open up a keyscape. Let's see, teach us how to make a future basic with a high pitch distorted lead. Sure. Yodi kisses. Let me see what it sounds like. Okay, so I'm just gonna make these chords and then I'll see where we end up. This is in C. Just gonna convert this to harmony for a second. Bonnie and Clyde style. Let me see. Bonnie and Clyde. I can probably combine this with the supercells and the high vocal lead. Adamo, can you see messages on Twitch? Yes, I can. Right now I have the Facebook chat open and the Twitch chat, my second monitor, so should be fine. Okay, so I think I got it. This is a pretty long, this is like 8 bars. I'm gonna shorten that to 4 bars, just make it a little less boring. So I have the E to a B. We are in C major or in A minor. So it's just all the white notes. And then maybe the D has the G or the G. The E. To the F. Oh yes, okay. So what I did, I had the melody line and then I just drew some bass notes under it. So I chose the C under here because this is the E and the E is the third of the C major chord. That fits really nicely. The same with the G and the B, it's also the third. With the D I went for the E because the D is the 7th of the E chord, so that makes a nice Then again, the F and the A are a third apart as well. So now I'm gonna fill in spaces in between. So we can use the fifth on here. Also the fifth on this one. Also on this F probably. This E, maybe the G. Yeah. Then I'm gonna duplicate the loop and make a variation the second time. The rhythm is or maybe so this last chord I want to switch up. So maybe we can go to the A. Then down to the G. I want to get a drum loop in here just to get a sense of the rhythm. I need like a break. This should do for now, just a placeholder. I don't like how it goes from these two chords back to this one. These become... So I'm just inverting the chords. It's still the same notes, but on different places. This becomes the B. And this becomes the A. Okay, nice. So we have our main chord progression. Let's see. I wanna just draw around with some melodies. Just get some idea of where we can go with this. So I'm just making a little triangle shape. Put the sustain down, the release at like 600 milliseconds. And press mono. Light, just a little bit. 45 unison noise, just a little bit too. Some reverb and some multiple compression. So we are in A minor, so that makes it really easy for us for me to jam around because it's just all the white notes. So let's see. I want to make this a little bit louder. Oh, wrong output. Okay, so let's see. Here. I think it sounds better when... Yeah, so it's gonna be like this. So I just adjusted the timing a little bit. I'm gonna delete that melody for now. So let's group this. I want to start with maybe the drop. Yeah, I think the drop will be the easiest to start with. So I'm just gonna make these 8 bars loop right here. I want to want to do some like chill, laid back stuff because the piano melody chords are really chill. I'm gonna make a small reese. Okay, so that's just a like half of a triangle wave with half of a square saw wave. I put the envelope all the way up. I made it mono, give it some glide and a little bit of unison. There's some multiband compression and a low pass filter. So then I'm gonna delete all the chords, so we just end up with the bass notes. Just too high. Oh, we're at 128, that's why it's so slow. Let's go to 160. I want to do some filter sauce type stuff. Actually, let's see. You guys wanted like what's it? Marshmallow vocal chop drop, high pitch distorted vocal lead, and Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, I'm gonna start over. So this chord progression is nice, but it's like way too calm to be a future bass banger. So I'm gonna make it back to 4 bars and start with the drums, so we can get a nice feel going for whatever we want to make. So I'm gonna get a kick from the new Ikali sample pack. This one, it's thick. So on the 1, the 4, the 2, for everything. And then the snare, the X and G packs have a lot of good snares, so let's see. I really like this one. The low end on this is a little bit too long, so I'm gonna shorten it and then adjust it with the fades. And also consolidate it, so I can just copy paste on the same rhythm. Okay, nice. I'm just gonna put in some rides and some cymbals. Let's see. This will do. Some hi-hats. Let's see. There's one loop in the Savage drum pack that I really like. I use it a little bit too much. Let's see. This one. So gonna put a glue compressor just for the soft clipping. Not gonna do anything but enable the soft clip, because it's redlining right now. And I don't want that, so I'm gonna turn it down to 5 semitones as well. 5 decibels. So let's get the MIDI going. I'm gonna make a quick group, synths. Then get the keyscape to start to write some chords. Grand piano. You can do this also just with this default Ableton grand piano, but like keyscape. Sounds nice. So let's see. Our kick has a specific key, or kick or our snare, then we can just go with that key. So I'm just gonna put a EQ on the kick, so I can blow it up. You can hover over the peak and see it's key in this little box here. So it's an F, and our snare is in A, so we are on F major, or that's like D minor. So D minor or F major. I like F major, so we're gonna go with that. Let's start with the F. The F major has all the white keys except the B is flat, so it's a B flat. And go back to the G here. Or back to the F. Okay, so we are using the B here, so that means it's in A minor. So let's pitch that up or back down to the right scale. I'm pretty sure we're in the right. It's gonna be difficult with the bass notes. We can. So I always like to keep my sub bass between the D and the A sharp or the B flat. So my favorite range for sub bass is like in this range. So from E flat to A flat. But sometimes chords fall outside of that, just like now. So I'm just gonna try to transpose every key so that it's in the good sub bass range. So the lowest we can go is A sharp 0 for this one. The C is a little bit of a difficult note because it's really high or really low. So I might just pitch it back up a little. So we are in F minor. Because then we can, or if I pitch it up 2 more. Yeah, so we're in G minor now. So that's really nice for all the bass, because then we only have one bass that's kind of high. The rest is really nicely low. So, yeah, so we are in G minor now. So that means all the white notes except the E is flat and also the B is flat. I think our kick is short enough to not make a big difference in the key, but we're gonna have to transpose our snare a little bit. I'm gonna pitch it up 1 semitone because then it's a B flat, which falls nice. That's like the third of the G, so that falls nicely into the. Okay, nice. So let's make the chords in the middle of these top and bass notes. So I have decided the melody. That's just all the fifths, probably. Maybe I can try the thirds, which is this. This one is lower, and it's also lower. Ooh, and then we can do a little major here, so that's a little modulation. So that's actually a trick Galantis likes to use a lot. So this is a D major, which actually should be, if you strictly stay in the scale, should be an F. But the F sharp just sounds really nice because you get that leading tone from the F sharp to the G. So if we spread it out a little more. Then we can add some 7s and 9s, so some extensions. So let's see, the D here. This one can just be an octave. Okay, nice. So we have our chords. So let's make the supersaw now. So Serum, classic supersaw machine, and So if you saw my Supersaw tutorial on Academy FM, I think it's on Academy FM. If not, it will be uploaded soon. I'm pretty much using the saw an octave up and the square an octave below the saw. That's because the saw has a lot of frequencies, a lot of rich harmonics, and the square wave doesn't. It has a little bit less harmonics, so it gets a little bit cleaner in the low end. But you can still get that fullness from the saw wave. Also want to do some pitch gliding, so I'm just gonna map the pitch bend. I'm just gonna keep it on 2 semitones for now. I'm gonna go to automation mode. Maybe try something little like this. Maybe also the pitch bend on the second chord. Not this. I'm gonna set the pitch bend range to 1, so it just has a little bit of glide every chord. Now I'm gonna make an extra layer just for some extra texture. So I'm gonna go into, let's see, base presets, and then pad or some strings or something. I'm gonna set the pitch bend range on this one on -1 as well. I'm gonna delete the reverb and the delay. I'm gonna make this layer stereo, so I'm just gonna put the Haas effect on here. Just gonna get some rid of the low mids. And then I'm gonna make this sub bass, which is gonna be just a triangle wave. Probably with some extra compression and distortion. So let's low pass this. Let's get the wavetable. Actually, I'm gonna go for serum again, just because of that pitch bend is already mapped, so it's easy. So especially now, because it's just a sine wave, this note especially gets pretty hard to hear, so I'm gonna thicken it up a little. Delete all the stereo making tools. Then I really like to push it full into the soft clip of the glue compressor. Then I'm gonna make a lead that's just gonna sit on top of the main saws. So I'm gonna delete everything but the highest note. Give it some cool textures. That is. And then I'm gonna put some reverb on here. Yeah, some Pro R. I really like Pro R. On the support saws too. And I'm also gonna layer some white noise over this. Let's see, white noise. I'm gonna do that with operator. It doesn't really matter what pitch it's playing because it's white noise. So I'm just gonna use this to fill out the high end a little bit more. I'm gonna use the new grouping group function in Ableton, which I really love. It's so nice. And then some LFO tool. I'm not sure about the LFO tool because there's some reverb before the LFO tool, so it will be really. I'll just try it anyways. Let's see. Put here too. Okay, so you get those reverbed, this LFO reverb, which I don't want. So I'm gonna put the reverb actually on the bus. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the bus and then delete it off here too. Then I have to cut the lows. I'm just gonna chain it, it's easier. So this is the wet. I'm gonna put the wet on 100% and the dry. This is the reverb. So then you can. Oh, I want to put the reverb after the. Oh, I hate that little. It's like a little glitch. If I record it, you can even see it. Yeah, this little. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a utility right before the LFO tool. And get a pencil. Just put those parts out. And it's the same in every loop, so. And then I'm gonna automate the rate of the LFO. so it goes slower and faster every note. Duplicate this. And duplicate this part at the end too. And I wanna do a pitch down at this. Hopefully that sounds good in context. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to Ctrl+C my way out. Do the support source too. So it has a little dip at the end of the chord. It's annoying that you have to do it with every single one. I wish there was like one control. Yeah, I don't like that. Shit. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go all the way back. So I'm gonna put like a phaser on here. And a flanger. These support saws with something I don't know, something else, maybe weird stuff, because the LFO is on the group anyways, so I don't really have to use serum. Oh, this is big. I'm just gonna browse. This is the CMI 5 from Arturia. It's based on like an old analog synth. I don't know specifically which one, but Tears for Fears used this one. A lot of other 80s artists. And don't really know how it works. It's like super confusing. So I'm just gonna browse through some presets. Ooh, some brass would be nice. That gives me an idea. So I have some contact libraries that's really nice for brass. Let's see. Brass ensemble. For some reason, not all the comments on the Facebook chat show up for me. That's weird. Let me try refreshing. 1 second. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, so brass. Let's see. Ooh, that's really heavy on my CPU. Oh, whatever. Staccato, release all the way back, tightness, like here. Tightness is pretty much the attack. So attack you can only make longer, but tightness basically skips the first part of the sample. And depends how much you skip with this slider. I'm gonna freeze this as soon as I... It sounds really weird for some reason. So yeah, I'm gonna freeze this and flatten it too. So without the LFO, it actually sounds like this. Exhale as a lead. Well, I already have most of the space is committed to this lead, which would be exhale. So this, let me save this part real quick. 21 future bass stream. So now the hard part is mixing it in. So I'm gonna turn this group down to 5. Also gonna turn this down to 5, just to leave a little space for other elements that might be coming in. Because I want to fill it up with like some vocal reverbs or some atmosphere. So I'm gonna go to X, ambience. We are in D minor, so a D. Like this. Would have never thought to use brass chords and LFOing it. Yeah, that's the one thing I really like about LFO tool, because you can make like the thick supersaws and also layer all kinds of other stuff like brass or woodwinds or some analog synths or some vocals if you want. Actually, I'm gonna might use this. I might LFO this as well. See how that sounds in the chord stack. Yeah, I like that. So ambience, sample. I'm gonna put this like way in the side, the Haas effect again. Yeah, I'm gonna put that probably in the intro as well. The shape of the curve in LFO tool, for sure. It's not your standard bell curve, but it's a little bit wider in the middle. So you have a little bit more volume, you have a little bit more thickness. You have still the same effect as if it was just like this. You have still the same effect because it still goes out of the volume still goes to 0. But it's just a little bit thicker. You just have a little bit more sound. That's why I like to use this curve. So let's start sidechaining this to the kick and to the snare, just with the Ableton default compressor. I actually have this set to sidechain enabled and the sidechain EQ enabled. So the way you do that is your normal compressor will probably, I think it will load like this. So then you just open this up, set it to every setting you want to, right click on like a little banner. You can save as default preset, so every time you open it, it will open as this. And I just have it set for sidechain compression because that's all I use this compressor for. I have the same with the glue compressor. I have it actually set with the soft clip on, the attack all the way down, and the release here, and the ratio to 10. And you can do this with every plugin in Ableton. Actually, I also have it for the EQ. Yeah, so I have like 4 bands enabled. The middle 2 are just bell curves. The ones to the side are shelves. Then you can enable the 1 and the 8 for the high and low pass, which really makes my workflow faster. Because I instantly know if I want to low cut something, I can just enable the first band, move it around the way I want to. And if I want to just boost a little frequency, I can use the 4 or the 5. So I really recommend to do that with every plugin you use often. I think it's only for the default Ableton audio effects. I'm not sure if it's with VSTs. Let me try. Oh wait. Let me try, for example, with Pro R. Oh yeah, you can save it as default configuration. So for example, if I set the mix to 0, save as default configuration, then delete this one. Every time I load up Pro R now, oh no. Oh, that's with this one, right? Okay. So save this. Every time I oh my god, my mic is muted. I don't know for how long it was muted. Shit. Okay, so I don't know where I left off. I don't know when my mic got muted. That's weird. I must have like a hotkey bound to it or something. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, wow. 30 seconds. So I was talking about did you guys catch the default preset? Because I was like explaining that whole thing. Wow. I don't know how that got muted. I didn't even touch any of the hotkeys I've set up. Just before configuring the Pro R. Okay, so I have the compressor set to the sidechain every time I load it up. So what you do is probably loads up like this for you guys. So you can do this with any Ableton plugin. You can just open it up or set it to any setting you like. So I set it to sidechain enabled and the EQ as well. You can set it as default, save as default preset. So every time you open this an Ableton audio effect, it will automatically load like this. I have that set for the glue compressor and also for the EQ. I don't know if I went over this already, but so the Pro R, basically what you can do is you can save. You can't do that for VSTs, but what you can do is you can save the default configuration. So that means that if you configure something, so you map some parameters to this little box right here, every time you load it up, those will be already mapped, so you can easily automate stuff. Boom. Okay. Now back to sidechaining. So the way I like to do sidechaining is just with the Ableton default compressor with the EQ enabled. So with the EQ enabled, you can actually catch just the high end of the kick or the transient of the kick by dialing in the frequency and the bandwidth. So set my threshold all the way down. and get this really sharp curve most of the time, because this is a really clean kick. Like there's not much going on the high end. Sometimes you have really boomy kicks. For example, I made a kick a while ago that's really has a lot of high end. Yeah, this one. So you hear a lot of like high end ringing. This one too. There's a lot of high end, even after the first initial hit. So in that case, I just use a ghost kick. Yeah, you can use it. Then I just use a click sample, but I like to do it just this way if I can. So I just take the high end of the kick. Actually, if you put press this little monitor button right here, you can hear what the incoming signal sounds like. So actually, I like this curve right here. So now I'm gonna set it for the snare, which will probably be a little bit messy. So I'm gonna low cut it. Okay. So the reason I low cut it is, what order should the effects have to be in? There's no specific order. It does affect this overall sound, but there's no one set. A lot of people say that you have to like compress before EQing. I always compress after EQing just because that's how I do it. I like how that sounds. So a lot of people say no boosting with EQs, but I think that's bullshit too. Yeah, it's just the way you want it to sound. So the reason I have it like this on the chord stack bus is because I wanted to LFO and I also wanted to reverb, and I don't want to LFO the reverb, if that makes sense. So I want the reverb to carry on even when it's the curve is like all the way down here when it's not making any sound. So that's the reason I have to reverb after the LFO. Then I just did some EQing, some compressing. The reason I did the glue compressor at last is because I want to soft clip it. So you can actually see the soft clip is enabling. So that's just pushing the signal into the soft clipper, which makes it a little bit louder, a little bit fatter. So yeah, that's the reason for this order of effects, and it's pretty much different every time, but I tend to put the glue compressor at last. So let's go back to sidechaining. So the reason I high pass this, it sounded fine before, but I high pass this because I actually want to use the little low end hit you get from high passing a snare or any signal. So even if you high pass it, there will still be a little bit of low end. You just won't hear it, but there will still be a little bit of low end left. So if I go to this display here, set it to low pass, set the frequency all the way down so you don't actually hear anything. You can see the incoming signal is just this little click. You can use that for sidechaining, which is perfect. Just a little, and not as deep as the kick, but still so that it can cut through the mix. And now, hopefully, if I push this way into a soft clipper, it will sound fat. Probably not. It's never fat first time around. Yeah, the drums are a little bit too loud. So now, that's all. This is, by the way, pretty much my workflow with Future Bass. So I make the chords, then I sound design the chords. Oh no, I make the chords, then I make the drums, just the basic drums, not any like complex fills or anything yet. Then I sound design the chords or any synth I've got going on, and then I kind of mix them a little bit. Then I master it. With it's not really mastering, just making it sound thick. So this would be good final RMS. So you can see you have the dark blue wave that goes up and down, And you have the lighter blue that hangs around 8 dB. So that's the RMS, I'm pretty sure. So around, for future bass, especially like these future bass bangers, I really try to stay around -7 dB RMS. Can I make this display any bigger? Yes, I can. So I try to stay around -7 dB RMS. That's just, it's not too loud and not too quiet, and it really helps to be as loud as some other big future bass songs. So the way I got to -7 dB as my normal reference is just referenced some Boombox Cartel songs, and they tend to stay around -7 dB. So I aim for that as well. Let's see. Why not group them both and apply the sidechain? What do you mean? Oh, the kick and the snare, because I want different settings for the kick, both the kick and the snare. You can't do that if you group them. Let's see. Do you think you'll have time later to show us something more related to your personal productions? Yeah, like the last half hour, maybe 15 minutes, I can open up some projects. Well, it's not entirely preference. It does alter the sound depending on how you arrange your effects chain. Yeah, so that's pretty much personal preference, the way you want it to sound. Do you soft clip through the glue compressor to prepare for a loud master? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends on the song, really. Most of the time I clip it into the glue compressor, the soft clipper in the glue compressor, and then I go through Pro L and push it just a little bit more, just to get that little extra loudness. How do you maximize RMS? My last remix was peaking around -6. I was only able to push it around -10 maximum. I don't know how you measure your RMS maximum. I just measure it by going through the loudest parts, so that's the drop. So I'm not looking at the peak RMS, just the average RMS, so it tends to hang around 7 or 8, just fine. That's the kind of RMS I'm aiming for. So now we have the drop. Kind of has some annoying frequencies, so I'm gonna go through this. So I hear some annoying frequencies there. I'm gonna make the bandwidth a little tighter, just like that. I'm also gonna get another one, monitor on. That frequency is annoying as well. I'm just gonna turn it down and make the bandwidth a little narrower. And I want to layer this with some vocals. So one vocal loop I really like for drops is from the Tassion pack. Synth loops, drop loops, and this. Just perfect to layer behind, like big synths. So this is in G minor, which is perfect already. So that really shines through when the chords aren't playing. So in this part and in this part. How do you go about layering in a more creative fashion like you do in your original productions? Do you use the same concepts as you use in one of these more generic style examples to get those unique layers? Well, it really depends on the sound I'm trying to go for. With layering, I try to look for a good bass sound. So that's the bass with an E at the end. So that's like the main sound you hear, and then a layer on top of that has a little bit more texture, that has a little bit more personality. So That way you get the power of the main idea you want to convey, so the melody or the bass sound or the chord sound that you want to convey to the listener. And also a little bit of uniqueness, so that's the texture layer. So in this case, we have the main saws, that's like the bass layer. That's like any standard super saw. And then we have the lead and the support saws, support chords, to give it that little unique, well, kind of unique. It's not that unique, but it's got its own sound. It's not just straight saw waves. So you have the lead, which is not that powerful on its own, like these main saws. You can make a drop with just this main saw and it won't sound pretty nice. But with this lead and these support saws, these sound really shitty on their own, but layered with this good bass sound, also with the sub, really brings this drop to like the next level, so to say. Whenever I try to make future bass, it always just sounds like super saws, but in your track Reasons, it has a unique drop sound. Any tips to get something like that? I wish I knew. I really struggle with making like more unique, more creative future bass. It's different every time. I like to use a lot of bass sounds and layer a lead on top of that instead of the main focus being the super saws. But it's different every time. It's a challenge every time to come up with something more challenging and unique. So let's continue with this song. So we have the first like 4 bars. Then we can repeat that. Short kick here. And then a long, big LFO here. Oh, and a little click at the end is so annoying. Just like that. And also want to filter it, so I'm gonna get the 4x filter, low pass filter on the Q8. And just do this. And like a big tom fill. So let's search for some toms. Oh, tomato. I was like, that doesn't sound like any toms, I know. I want some like very big synthetic, like some Porter Robinson type toms or something. Does future bass drops have to sound good in mono? I feel like it's nearly impossible with how wide the stereo field is. I never really check mono. Let's see. As long as it sounds not too wide, most of the time it's fine. Yeah, it doesn't sound great because it's obviously mono. You're missing the stereo field, but it sounds fine. So let's get back to the toms. Ooh, this one is really punchy. I like that. So 2 toms. They were a little too resonant in the fundamental. I'm gonna turn down the fundamentals. The good thing with toms is also you can compress them a lot. It's nice. then like a percussion hit at the end here. Let's go to the X and G packs. Always have a lot of nice percussion. Let's see. I like the sound a lot. I'm actually gonna put that on the offbeat for every measure. Turn it down, make it a little bit more centered. And cut the lows. Okay, the percussion hit at the end. See, we can compress this as well. Your own style productions, what layer is it that you find normally is filling out most of your mix, since you don't always program in full on chords such as reasons? Do you find it's the bass overtones in that sound that helps create this sort of thickness as well as the top lead? Yeah, it's always the combination of sounds, the way you mix it. So in my last few tracks, you have like a thick bass and then a lead on top of it. So actually my last song, Youth, you had a thick bass, you had a lead on top, and then in the background you had the super sauce. So you had the bass basically filling out this part of the spectrum, and also like a little bit from 100 to 10k, but it kind of slopes off. Then you have the lead around 1k, and then this part between 100 and 1k is filled up by some chords or some other type of synth that I put there. But mostly it's the way you mix and the sounds you choose actually for the bass and the lead. It's really important. So yeah. So it's really a straight rhythm now. I wanna. Yeah, something like this in between of the hits. So it kind of feels faster. I want to layer these with some breath samples. Let's see if I have some.
Breathe.
Yeah, like this. So let's start with the intro, I guess. So intro field is 8 bars before the drop. Like that. Let's make some effects. Some effects channels. So I never know what to do with the intro. I'm gonna get a reference song, boombox. Let's see, tracks. I want to find a boombox song without vocals, so it's easier. This one. So, pretty sure this is 140 or something. Yeah, I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna put the output to external out so it bypasses the master, but you can still hear it. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit too. Yeah, this is way slower than our song, so I'm just gonna warp it. I'm not looking for the audio quality. I'm just looking for some arrangement. So I hate this color. It's like a poop color. Let's find a nice green. This reference. Sometimes I get more reference tracks, so I can just drop them in here. Click on route this to the group, and the group is gonna be external out. So every track I drop in this group is gonna bypass the master. What is it that you are putting in the tracks folder in Ableton? Yeah, I just have tracks that I want to reference in Ableton. So there's like a shit ton of tracks in here. These are all for referencing and for like studying their arrangement and fills and yeah, all kinds of stuff, mixing. Yeah. Let's see. It starts with the piano. Some background vocals. And like some rain samples. Some pads and a Reese come in here. Then here you get some drums and some more vocal samples. And some more high-end you know, pads and stuff. By the way, I really recommend people do this, even if you are a little bit more experienced, because it can really help getting out of the same like structure every time you make a song. Did you ever find attempting to remake all those tracks help you learn it all? Like remaking everything from sound design to learning the chord progressions? Yeah, definitely. I used to transcribe like a lot of house songs and future bass songs just so I can learn like what kind of chords do they use, what kind of intervals with the melodies, and what kind of rhythms do they use. Just so you can learn them and apply them to your own production. And it's the same with like these arrangements. I'm not using this for mixing or like ripping off the chords or whatever. I'm just using it for arrangement. So I know like I can start with a piano and some vocals, then bring some pads in, then bring some like drums in, put it into the build, and like a 16-bar drop or something. So you can kind of get your own structure and arrangement ideas from that. So yeah, I really recommend everyone do this. So yeah, you have this main drop like right here. And then here you have like an outro drop kind of. Where kind of the supercells get like filtered out and you can hear some more vocals. And probably goes back into kind of the same arrangement as the intro. Even just the drop is copied too, then a little outro. I feel like that's a good, what do you call it, structure, but it's a little bit too long for my taste, so I'm gonna cut out this part right here. Hold on. That part. You have, well, like 16 bars here, then another 16 bars. It's kind of weird. So yeah, 2 times 16 bars, 16 bars breakdown, 16 bars like verse and build up, 16 bars drop, 16 bars beat drop, and then like 8 bars of outro. So we can use that to reference. So let's start. Actually gonna group this drop synths Then I'm gonna split it up between drop synths and like intro synths. So let's start with the piano. So I really like this wing upright. Sounds so nice. Especially on lower velocities. So press legato, the pulse the other way down. So this is a pretty busy chord progression. There's like in 4 bars, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chords. Is this broadcast going to be recorded and re-uploaded? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they update the livestream vault every Monday, so you can check it there next Monday. Yeah, recently discovered how to set up reference tracks in your default template so that I can route directly into Foxango span and monitor the frequency spectrum along with my master channel with the spectrums highlighted different colors to distinguish them. Yeah, so that's a really good way as well. Most of my tracks in this tracks map folder are ripped off of SoundCloud, so they're really low quality. Mostly I just use them for transcribing and stuff, and structure and arrangement. So I'm gonna try to calm down this chord progression a little. I feel like I can get rid of these middle notes and just make this a 4 chord progression. Middle notes, I mean middle chords, because you have like these main chords are like these, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and these middle two just help get to from this chord to this chord, but I don't think you necessarily need them. Yeah, so that sounds nice. I'm gonna make this a little bit shorter, or stop earlier and make these right here. How do you handle the hard drive storage of all those huge libraries? I don't have a lot of huge libraries. Well, kind of. Most of my stuff is my sample folder is like 300 gigabytes. So I have I think it's a 2 terabyte or 4 terabyte hard drive where I put all my samples and my contact libraries on. Then I have I think a 1 terabyte SSD, and that's where I put all my projects and my Keyscape and Trillion, and I'm pretty sure Omnisphere is on my hard drive as well, my HDD. Yeah. And then the samples folder. This is my Dropbox, link to my Dropbox. So this is all on my Dropbox, which is also on my SSD, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's like 500 gigabytes in total, like all my projects and samples and libraries. So it's not that much actually. You can get some pretty cheap hard drives. Actually gonna put this down an octave. Okay, so with our piano, in the next stream, can you try to make something similar to Hex Cougar's music? Yeah, I'll have to talk to the guy who like schedules all these live streams, so he can set up another future-based live stream. I think I'm supposed to stream next Monday as well, so I'll try to make a future-based stream out of that too. So let's get some birds. I like birds and shit. Nice. Let's use that. Make it a little louder. This is like a repeating bird in there. I don't like that, so I'm gonna get a rain sample instead. Ambient rain atmosphere. It should be. Oh, where'd you get all these plugins? Spent hours searching, found nada. Seems like they don't exist. Well, this is... It seems like a lot, but this has been actually just saved up over the last few years. I used to only have like 10 plugins. And then every time, like over the years, I just gained more plugins. I love plugins. So we have the ambience and the piano. I want to add some like reverbed out vocals and some smaller harmonic stuff. So I'm gonna go into vocal packs. Riffs. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. I'm gonna warp this to 140. Then get this. Okay, I'm gonna use this as well. So I'm just gonna use these two like riffs, I guess they're called. I'm gonna turn them down a lot and just reverb the shit out of them. So. Oh, and they're in what, F sharp minor. So I just have to pitch them up one semitone. So I really like to use like this vocal riffs where they're not really singing anything but just singing melodies, and use them as like an atmosphere or just to back it up harmonically. For my in and out sample rate, it's okay to be at 4,000. 44,100. Yeah, guess I'm on that too. I don't really mess with that. Only mess with my output buffer size because that increases and decreases the latency. So if I want to like jam on piano on stream, I put this to like 1200 and then put it back when I'm actually producing. Yeah. I want to layer this keyscape with something else. Hybrid piano, what's that? Oh yeah, okay. I want to use something from this. So with these duos, they basically combined two of the keyboards that are in keyscape and made one instrument out of them. Oh, that's so thick. Okay, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna cut out the low end a little bit because I'm gonna make it super stereo. The house effect in here. Use it as a layer on the piano, which I'm gonna make a grand. I want to get like an arpeggiator in this part and the second 8 bars. Ooh. So with a lot of Ableton default stuff, you can randomize the panning. So it actually just jumps around. I don't think you can do it in Wavetable. So I'll just have to do it with auto pan. Let's see. And I want to filter that in slowly. So I'm going to get an auto filter. And then the last one is going to be a variation, otherwise it gets boring. Okay, nice. Where do you get those ambient samples? I don't know where this is from. Ambient rain. Atmosphere. Let's see, show in places. Show in places. With this one. Oh no. Just shows me projects that I've. Yeah, I don't actually know where this is from. It just shows up in random projects. But you can find a lot of cool ambiences on Splice, and also I think one of the first future bass packs Somatics ever released. Bass for X for Serum, the bonuses, effects, ambience have a lot of nice rain samples, and wind, and lake. But yeah, I get most of my samples like from Splice and stuff. So. I want to pitch these up a little. With a little, I mean an octave. And in this second 8 bars, I also want a path to come in. I'm gonna use Diva. I love Diva. This is also like based on some analog synth. I'm not sure which one. But it gets some really thick sounds, some really thick bass and lead sounds as well. Let's see. Dream synth. I'm gonna adjust the attack and delay a little bit, or release. I'm gonna cut the low end and put some reverb on it. I love the Pro R reverb. It's from FabFilter. I'm also gonna filter this one in slowly. So here the bass comes in and also the drums. So let's get theorem. It's just gonna be a straight 8th note saw pluck bass type thing. I don't want it that wide, so I'm gonna. And also get some extra bigger chord synths in here. Also Diva. This up. Ooh, that's so thick. I love it. So let's get some drums in there too. I don't want like super heavy drums like this. Actually gonna make this drop drums group. I really love the new groups in group function. I'm gonna check if I'm not missing any chat questions. Sometimes Facebook like skips a comment. So why Diva instead of Serum? I think Diva is an analog synth, but curious what you prefer using Diva over Serum. I like Diva's presets. I'm not that good at making my own sounds in Diva yet, but I want to learn it. But yeah, for my own sounds, I use mostly Serum, and I just use Diva for the presets, pretty much. So yeah, I'm gonna group this intro drums. Make a bunch of audio channels. Let's see, it starts here. So let's call this the verse. I downloaded some nice deep kicks the other day. Yeah, this one. And let's loop that. Snares. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna layer this with a bigger snare I found also the other day. Lap. No. 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 Maybe it was brain sample. Let's see. These are so aggressive. Let's see. Yes. I'm like 100% sure there's a really nice clap in here. Maybe the bar session. Hold on. I know exactly what it sounds like. Just gotta find it. It's gotta be here somewhere. Sorry about this. Wait, maybe it was in here. Oop. The rest I'm just gonna do something else. Oh my god, you can't be serious. I did this. Oh my god. Okay, finally. I'm sorry about that. This clap right here. I love this clap. I think I can make this a little bit stereo. Because we have this main clap like right in the middle. Ooh, that sounds nice. I'm gonna consolidate that. Like this. Pan around as well. Like this. Maybe not that. 18. Ooh, I want to add this loop to the build-up. This one too. Wow, I didn't even know I had these samples. Yeah, that's why I'll also recommend using the search bar, because then you can come across samples you never would come across if you just went to your go-to sample packs. So if you want something like a kick or percussion, I always recommend just going randomly through your sample folder. That's maybe a little bit too much. This is 151. So it's almost like the last 10 minutes. If you guys want me to see work on this project a little more, I will do that. If you guys have some questions, send them in now. Or if you want to see anything else, please don't hesitate to ask, because the stream is almost done. So yeah, would you guys like to see me like work more on this project, or do anything else, anything like that? I'm gonna listen to this project one more time. Personal projects. Okay, I'm gonna black out my screen for a second. Let's see. My last track made it in. Actually, started on this on a. Started that on a Academy FM stream, and then I finished it outside of it. But I got the main idea down. I'm pretty sure it's in default still. It's like a future bass stream from December. So yeah, I'm loading it up right now. Yeah, I have a Twitch, but I don't use it a lot. I should though. Should make like an official Twitch stream or whatever. I can just do it on here. You guys have any more like questions or something? Or anything you want me to do? Or any tutorials or something? Can you upload the project files for the project? Pretty sure I can. There's some samples from other people in there. I'll ask. I uploaded like a house project last month into the group. Oh, look, I dropped something. Yeah. So I uploaded the project I made for like bass house stream last month too. So I'm pretty sure I can upload this one as well. Yeah. my whole library from Ableton 9 just broken in Ableton 10. I mean, like your sample library, or like all your plugins or something. Maybe some tutorials on how you make samples from scratch, like in your sample pack. I basically just layer and process samples, different samples from different packs, and then put them in my own little folder so I can use them later. This project is also taking a while to load. That's why my screen is black, by the way. Hopefully it loads before the end of the stream. Otherwise, I'll just keep going for a little bit longer. I won't be able to go through like everything in the project, but I'll give you like the gist of it. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So it's basically split up in drop drums, intro drums, drop synths, B drop synths, intro synths, and effects. So I'll just show you the drop this bit, probably the easiest part. Ooh, I don't like. So you have the kicks and the snares and the drums. So the kick is a big, thick kick, and then a top kick. Just like acoustic. That also plays sometimes when the kick isn't playing. The snare consists out of a ram switch snare, snare I made, clap layer, and a like fill snare. Then some percussion loops, just to make it thick, the fill. Then you have some chords and a vocal layer that just fill up the frequency spectrum a little bit more. Then the bass, which is a sub, a brass, and a saw. So you sub. Brass. And saw wave. Also layered with some white noise. Then the lead, which is wavetable with some reverb, compression, and EQ. Then another pluck that's really delayed. There's some vocal shouts. Then this, I don't know where I got this from. Probably like Excel or something. And then the second drop basically has a like a little fill there, and that's the drop. Then you have the intro, which consists of these intro drums. To give some more texture, a pad, piano, intro melody, which is also the drop melody. The Reese. Guitar loop. That's also from Cymatics. Basically grabbed the first part of a guitar loop and looped it over and over again. Vocal ambience. More vocal ambience. An ambient melody. Another ambient melody. Some vocals. Some more ambience. And some effects with an impact. Texture. More texture. That's basically the entire song, so pretty simple. So I've been saving up some money. What kind of headphones should I buy? I really recommend the ATH M50X. I've been using them for like 2 years already, and they're really just nice and balanced, and probably every producer I know has them. How can you get rid of sidechain compressing click artifacts like on your sub? I don't know. Probably look ahead or something. I don't really care about those little clicks because you can't hear them anyways when other stuff is playing. Even when the kick or the snare is playing, you can't hear the little clicks, so I don't really mind. Any other questions or stuff you want to see? It's like 1 minute till the end of the stream, so I can't show that much, but I can answer like the final questions. And I'll be back Monday, I think, on here. Let me see. 26th. Yeah, Monday. I just showed the drop melodies. That's this. Just 2 instances of wavetable with like some reverb and a lot of compression. Do you make music for a living? Yes, I do. More walkthrough vids, please. I'll do some on my own Twitch channel, so like follow me on Twitter and SoundCloud and stuff, and I'll post the link there. Oh, the comment is showing up. Yeah, so I don't think I can do like a full track breakdown on here. I'll have to ask, but I'll definitely do some on my own Twitch and Twitter channel. Yeah, so just follow my Twitter and I'll post the link there every time I stream. I definitely want to do like more breakdown stuff and tutorials, so yeah. Well, alright, that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you all for watching and for participating in the chat. Yeah, I'll see you on Monday. Peace.